And thank you so much for this opportunity. And thank you everyone for being here, for giving your time. I'm really grateful that so many people showed up. And this also shows that so many people are already in this journey, which is amazing to see, because many times we feel like, oh my God, am I the only one who is going through some of these things? But seeing that people need this kind of inspiration or this kind of support and help kind of like reassures you know that you are not alone. And that's just a really wonderful thing to see. Reframing. Okay, so let's get started, because I also have quite a lot of things to say. And then, to be honest, I just had to reframe and restructure my presentation, because Matan was saying quite a lot of things which I was planning to do. No worries, no worries. So when you were talking, I was redoing my PPT just before the actual speech happens. And I think that's something that I want to highlight, that there are many things that you plan in your life. I also planned a lot of things, but things just don't work out that well. Not just that well, things just don't work out the way you want at all. Okay, so what can you do in this kind of situation? For example, a lot of us have planned a lot of things. Like, how are we going to spend our April, right? I thought I'm going to be outside, smelling flowers, traveling, like the May holidays coming. I already had plans for May, but some things are really not in our control. So if this kind of situation happens, and we are going to focus on first on situation, how to reframe these situations and how to not fall into a depression, or just basically just have to not fall into this circle of negative thoughts, which also Matan mentioned. Okay, so Reframe is a very powerful tool which is being used in behavior therapy, in NLP, but also in innovation. So the way I met, it was the innovation. This is how we are trying to kind of solve problems, and then kind of seeing that problems are not just really problems, but more like opportunities. So I will talk about it a little later. Okay, probably you know this this quote. Who knows this quote? Yeah, it's a famous one. But I thought I would start with the famous quote, and it sounds like a cliche, but it is really, really true. So if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Okay, so let's delve into a little bit more, a little bit about myself and how I basically got into Reframe. So I had like a depression after a really bad breakup, and that's when I started to open to spiritual communities, and I went to Shanghai, the spiritual healing center at Tianzifang. Probably a lot of you know that place. It's a very spiritual place, and that helped a lot. But then later, I was just, it's kind of like changing your patterns. It's very difficult. So I started my journey there, but then I still was doing a lot of things, and it was a lot of stress in my life. At that time, we were putting on a production, Jungle Book, and then at the same time I was doing HIIT. I didn't sleep enough, and something triggered because I started to have paresthesia attacks. And I don't know if you know about what that is. It basically means that you have this tingling sensation. I had it in my left part of my body, and then it was shaking, and basically I felt like my brain is giving up control over my body. So my hands just started to have like a different life. I couldn't control. When I was telling my hand I want to go this way, my hand just didn't follow. These attacks were usually 5 to 10 minutes, depends. And well, I went to a couple of doctors, and they were saying, no, it's probably just like your neck is not straight enough, so it's pushing a nerve, so that's why you have some things. And then they started to do a bunch of therapies. You can see some pictures here. And then later they realized that it's not really about the alignment in my neck, but I actually have something inside my vertebrae. And basically one of the I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. So then first of all, I didn't know what's that. So that was a really difficult time. And then I was like, okay, if that's the situation, I read a lot about it. Basically, it's a non-treatable disease. The only thing you can do is you treat the symptoms. So I started to do that, but sooner or later I had to realize that why is this happening? And it's probably because of the stress. And then the second thing I realized that we always going to have challenges in our life. no matter what we do, no matter where we go, no matter who are we with, we always going to have some kind of challenges in our life. So you cannot like completely kind of run away or and live in a cave. So problems always going to happen. Like this COVID is an unexpected thing. You can't control it. But what I realized that these things are happening, but I have to look at them differently, and then the things will change. So I went to do a Vipassana retreat, which people might say like, yeah, a lot of, probably some of them who have done a Vipassana retreat. It's, do you guys know what's that? Yeah, 2 people nodded. Okay, so it's a silent retreat where you keep meditating basically for 7 days for 12 hours a day, and you are not allowed to talk. You are not allowed to do almost anything except eating, sleeping, and meditating. But this meditation is also kind of as a really deep meditation, and I really suggest everyone to go there because it kind of makes you realize one thing, which also Mata mentioned, that everything shall pass. It's all just a sensation. So this meditation teaches you to look at things like this sensation and not to judge them. It's not good and it's not bad. It's just a sensation and it will pass. So when you meditate, you have all kinds of different these sensations in your body, and then you realize that sensations came and then it just passed. So it kind of reprograms your brain to understand that whenever you feel pain or whenever you feel low or whenever something happens, that all will pass. And then this helped me to finally start doing things that I really liked. And then I started to do acting, which is another other topic would be that unlimited beliefs and stuff like that. But then COVID-19 came. And basically I had to stop everything. And this Mata mentioned is definitely financially hit, especially entertainment industry. We couldn't continue at all, like all productions were completely shut down. So we don't know where we are going next. So that's basically about my journey. And so I realized like how you can basically from a victim and it's all about mindset and how you look at certain things, become a victor. So reframing is a powerful tool which helps you to understand that you are in a situation, but how can you look at this situation differently? Okay, so I invite you to do this short exercise. Write down 3 unpleasant things that happened to you this week. A situation, not a very big thing, just something that you think it was unpleasant, was kind of annoying. You can write it in the chat. I think I can look at the chat. What is that? Yes, I can look at the chat. Or you can open up your microphone and share. It's absolutely up to you. 3 unpleasant things that happened to you. Strain my back. Yeah, that's definitely pretty unpleasant. Okay, all right. Keep that in mind. Anybody else had something unpleasant? And here, I had to go to the immigration office 3 times before they took my documents. I had some pains in my body. Okay. All right. Okay. That's also pretty unpleasant. Lack of rest. Okay, not sleeping enough. Missed the webinar. Oh, okay. All right. Ran into energy depletion in the middle of 7-day fast, had to break it. Oh. All right, good. Okay. You could also, if you don't want to share, you could write it on a piece of paper, which also might help. I also gave a couple of examples here, like a traffic jam. Sometimes traffic jam also feels like it's an unpleasant thing, and because of traffic jam, you were late for a meeting, or you got rejected, or some even worse, like your girlfriend, boyfriend broke up with you, or you lost a lot of money, which is happening right now with a lot of people. Okay, keep this in mind, and we're gonna work on this, how to reframe these situations. Okay, my first question is, how did you react? Okay, how did you react? How did you feel? But here we have a lot of coaches who probably have more positive thinking now. But what was your first reaction? Like, be really honest. What was your first reaction? Frustrated. Yeah. Sad. Yeah, I was pretty, my first reaction when this all COVID happened and my boss basically said, okay, you kind of lost your job and no more income, I was really dejected. Yes, felt missed opportunity, disappointed. Sit down, fix up a quick dinner. Okay, that's more like a solution, but yeah, that's good. Yeah, so this is how we tend to react. Frustration, anger, negative thoughts, feeling dejected, feeling depressed, especially if after rejection you're feeling really depressed. Complaining a lot, nagging, or self-blame, right? It happened in the past that I lost a lot of money because I was stupid. So, well, this is what I was telling myself. And then I was blaming myself because of that. Okay, so the first thing I'm inviting you to start using this tool, and then it's all related to positive thinking and limited beliefs. But this is like one particular tool. It's not like the whole big topic of NLP or positive thinking, limited beliefs. It's just one tool. It's called the reframing. So the first question you need to ask: can you control? Is it under your control? So if, for example, there is a traffic jam, can you do something about it, like right there, right now? No, probably not. Or this COVID-19, this happened, this entire sickness is here. People are in a really bad situation. We have to stay at home. Can we do something about it? Can we do something about it? Is it in our control? No. So if this is the situation, then you just say, that's it. It's not under my control. I can't do anything about it. I just have to let it go. Okay, it's raining outside. I wanted to go outside. Instead of getting frustrated, it's like, I can't control rain. I don't have that superpower. Not yet. Not yet. So I just have to let it go. And instead of thinking about this, you shift your focus. You shift your focus to the things that you can control. And this is when truly empowerment starts. I can't control the rain, but I can control how I feel about this rain. I can't control the traffic jam, or I can't control COVID-19, but I can control what is my emotional reaction to COVID-19. Okay, so this is when we change the frame, we basically change the perspective and change the emotional response. So you can use the content reframing on the context reframing. But you gotta ask yourself, because some people, even Matan was talking about fear. I think a lot of people put fear in kind of like a negative connotation. I heard many times, like, how can I be completely fearless? Like, how can I get rid of my fears? Or for example, anxiety. How can I completely get rid of anxiety? I don't wanna be anxious ever. Then I would ask this question, like, are you sure? Can you think about a situation when this behavior actually helped you? So if we wouldn't have fear, I would just like open the window and jump out, because I'm not afraid of that, right? Fear is also one of our survival instincts. Anxiety, okay. So if I wouldn't be anxious certain times, maybe when I'm like writing exam or when I'm doing like a competition, maybe I will not be perform so well. There are so many researches which shows that anxiety also creates excitement, and that helps us to perform well. So we gotta ask the question, like, okay, when this behavior actually helped me, or when this behavior did not help me? In certain situation, when you feel that fear is really limiting you, that is probably the situation when you can say, oh, this behavior did not help me. Does this behavior serve me in my life, serve me to reach my higher goals, serve me to feel better? Then if not, then that's again when we have to let it go. All right, so reframing, let's get to, what do you see first? And you can write it down in the chat. What do you see first? Pillar, okay. Anybody else? Pillars, okay. Anybody else? And the man, okay, nice. Railing. Oh, good. So in the very, very first, when you look at that, you saw something, right? And then you have to go, so that's what I said, it's very similar to Mata. You have to go back a little bit back, or turn your head, or like just close your eyes and look at it again. And then you could see something else, right? Then you could see the man, or maybe vice versa. So this is how our brain works. We see things first, but if we stop and we take a step back, or we just turn the paper, we turn the picture around, we start to see different things. Let's do another one. What do you see first? China's car. Okay, you guys are really smart. You see both. Okay, good. But what did you see first? Like when you looked at it, what was the first thing? The little girl, the girl, the girl. And then it took you maybe 1 or 2, maybe milliseconds, because these are very simple pictures, to see something else. You have to look at it, like close your eyes and look at it again, or go a little back, or just turn your head. Sometimes it happens if it would be a little bit more difficult. I later saw the scar. Very good. So I invite you to look at things also in your life. In your life, look differently at how you do that. And in this situation, in these two pictures, there is no negative or positive. But unfortunately, what researchers show, and there was a really interesting TED talk about it, that our mind seemed to think negative first and then positive, and exactly how Matan mentioned. And then our brain, so for example, when the big regress, what's that? The crisis, the financial crisis happened, you could see that the economy went down, but after the economy could kind of like get back to the original, slowly increased. You can see that, you can see it on the graph. But how the consumers thought, how the consumer confidence was, right? People in the recession also lost a lot of money. It took them so much longer to kind of recover from it, because that negative feeling stayed with them longer. So first of all, when something happens, the first reaction is usually, unfortunately, negative. And also the negative tends to stay with us longer. So what can we do? We have to put a conscious effort into reframing these things. And this is all about like willingness. If you have the willingness to reframe these things, you will realize that slowly things start changing in your life. And that's, of course, it goes back to positive thinking. But this is, as I said, it's a tool. So the tool has 8 questions. So when something like this happens, okay, some negative things happen, some like a bad or unpleasant situation, then you can ask these 8 questions. And I really invite you to write these down. If you want, I can send you the PPT later. And then, okay, so for example, if it's, let's say COVID-19, right? COVID-19. What else this could mean? This could also mean that probably the world was not prepared for this pandemic. This could also mean that in the future, we will have much more hygienic procedures at the companies, at the schools, and probably can prevent other big pandemics. A lot of things. Like I can ask these questions instead of like, oh my God, the world is gonna end. Instead of saying that, what else could this mean? Where else I can use this? Okay, in a new context. Okay, so if like, for example, let's say I have to stay at home. Okay, so everybody's staying at home, but at the same time I'm saving lives. Then it looks completely different. If I say, oh my God, I'm staying at home, I'm so bored, I can't meet my friend, like these are negative thoughts. But of course, while I'm staying at home, I'm saving lives. I'm being a very, people have the time to think, became aware. Yes, absolutely. What can I learn from this? Well, hopefully a lot of countries learn from it that they have to be prepared more. But as me, what can I learn from this? The number one learning from it, that I always need to, because I lost a lot of money also, right? I always I should put conscious effort into having maybe like a second income, or not work for training centers anymore, which are not available, which are basically not, they cannot give you the income and they lose their income. Like you should work for an international school or something like that. What is the funny side of this? Okay, so I really use this, what is the funny side of this? And I started to make funny videos. So this is what I'm basically doing. So instead of, you know, feel very frustrated that I lost a lot of money and feel depressed that I can't go out, I'm using this time exactly like to reconnect with others. I do a lot of exercises, and I started to do funny videos, which I always wanted to do, but I never had time. Like, you know, that feeling that, especially what happens in Shanghai, we just keep running from one place to another. We are part of this, we are part of that, and we have our job, and we actually don't have time to do things that we really want many times. What would I be doing if I solved the problem? So looking at the solution, which is very important for an innovation perspective. How to find solution to a problem, and have to look at problems as an opportunities, which is the next one. What opportunities can be inside this problem? How does this look other people involved? Okay, so for example, you can spend time with your family. How would a superhero approach this problem? Okay, if you would have any kind of superpower, what would you do? And these are also, again, as I said, these are the questions which we use in innovation when we talk about how to solve, we call it the wicked problems, which are not easy to solve, like let's say plastic or rural education. Okay, so for example, you get to a river, you are walking and you get to a river and you can't cross the river, right? It's a very wide river and kind of like a very strong flow. Is this really a problem? If I say, I can't cross the river, oh my God, what's going to happen? Is this really a problem? Do you guys think it's really a problem? It's a fact, okay? Yes, right, that's good. Why do I need to cross the river? You want to cross the river, you want to cross the river. There is like the gold is on the other side of the river. Okay. It's a situation, very good. It's a situation. And it's an opportunity, right? If this is the problem, I can build a bridge, which is a great opportunity, which happens a lot in social innovation. We see a problem, but we don't look at it as an problem. It's actually an opportunity for the social innovation business, right? Like plastic, okay, it's a huge issue, but it's actually also an opportunity to come up with solutions for a lot of social entrepreneurs, therefore giving even job opportunities for a lot of people. Okay, this was the example of COVID-19, but more or less I already talked about it. And I think it's very important to understand. And then I found this interesting picture about the broken, and then there it says okay in between. That you need to realize that there is nothing really wrong in this situation, and you shouldn't look at that as, oh my God, it's like a really bad tragedy or drama, but it's more like a situation, as Katie mentioned. Very good. All right, so it's time to reframe for you. Whatever you've written down, I invite you to reframe this situation for yourself. Okay, so for example, you can do it, you can actually write it down on a piece of paper, or you can share it. You can open your mic and share it, like how you can reframe using these 8 questions. I go back to the 8 questions. And then we usually use these, you don't have to use all these 8 questions. You can find something which resonates with you the most, or which is most suitable for your situation. I can give you another example. So for example, I think Matan, you also mentioned that if there was a rain, no, there is a traffic jam. Okay, there is a traffic jam. I can get really frustrated about the traffic jam. Or I can say, all right, I can't control, so I let it go. So what else I can do? First of all, I can learn that next time I shouldn't take taxi in this hour. I should take maybe public transport. Or I have now half an hour, maybe I can listen to a podcast or read a book. So I invite you to reframe whatever situation. You can open your mic and share, or you can just write it down. How can you reframe your situation using any of these questions?
Maybe I can start, so give people opportunity to write down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I mentioned, for me, it was like, I thought about, okay, I can use it in my webinar, for example. I can use it as an example, yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good example. But as we can see, Mata, you already worked a lot on like thinking positive. So we could see that we could see that conscious effort that, yes, I have terrible backache, but how can I look at these things differently? Yeah, that's beautiful.
For me,
and I think yeah, go ahead.
Well, I told you I had to go to the immigration office 3 times last week, and I was frustrated because I didn't have time, and I was like, and nobody likes to go to, you know, immigration office in general.
Yeah, true.
So, but
So
for
how
me,
can you reframe?
Look at it in a sense that, you know, because I haven't left, you know, I had a quarantine for like 3 weeks here, the lockdown. So maybe it was a chance for me to like venture out. It was the first time in a month I actually left the vicinity of like 500 meters. Yeah, have a little bit of adventure, maybe refresh my mind because I was working hard. So maybe it was just a chance, like kind of a break, right? Like change in activity is also a break. So yeah.
Yes, very good. Very good. Very good. Okay. That's nice. That's a really good example for reframing. And did you feel better? Like, okay, so tell me honestly, when would you feel better? If you think like, oh my God, I have to go there, or if like, all right, so I can see the surrounding, it's actually nice and sunny day. Which one would make you feel better?
No, obviously the second one. Yeah. So
okay, that is, thank you, Nika. Okay, what I like most is to use a situation to impact others in a positive way, to help others reframe. Traffic jam, put my music loud and visibly sing along with energy. And if someone laughs at me, just laugh and throw my hands in the air. Some look at me, I'm crazy, but most actually start laughing too. Nice, Johnny. That's a good one. Like how you can impact others also and kind of inspire them. Yeah, I do that also sometimes when I go to some of these offices like this, where people are very unhappy. And then I just like smile at them. And first they look at me like, why are you smiling? Like everybody comes here that they are all frustrated. They have to do all these documents. Why are you smiling at me? And they just smile. And then sooner or later they smile back. You just make people aware of the silliness of the situation. Like, why are we unhappy? Yeah, laughing at it. Humor actually helps a lot. It's sometimes even when you have like, it's a like, you did something silly or you were a little, what's the word? Clumsy. And then you broke something, right? And instead of like looking at it, oh my God, I broke this vase. This is so bad. I lost so much money. You can just laugh at it. Like, okay, I was silly again. Maybe make a funny video of it or something like that. Good. Very good. Thank you so much, guys, for sharing. Nice. Okay, so how does actually affect your life? Because if you keep reframing the positive way, you will see the result. So the other exercise I invite you to do is write down all the events that you feel were tragedy in your life. And I use tragedy because a lot of people feel that many of these negative, unpleasant events, they were tragedy, and they kind of like put like a stamp on their life. And from now on, it's kind of like something that is going to define like who you are. You can just write down on a piece of paper, or you can write down in a chat. It's absolutely up to you. I gave some examples here, like, like you failed an exam, or you got rejected, terrible breakup, you lost your job, you lost a lot of money. And we many times feel it's like really a tragedy, like if something like that happened in your life and you would like to share, that's also fine. If you're not, you can just write down a piece of paper. It's also okay, because maybe it's something more personal, like you lost someone. So that's also okay. If somebody would like to share, the chat is open, or you can open your mic, but otherwise, yeah, it's absolutely fine if you write down a piece of paper. And the reason I use tragedy, because this is how many times we feel, even like, if I remember when my first breakup happened and I was 18 years old, I felt like this is the end of the world. I had 2 major tragedies, a motor bicycle accident and losing all I had, but they gave me the chance to reset my life, and I dreamt but never did engage into from a comfort position. Very good, very good. You already reframed it. That's great. Yeah, so tragedy, definitely a motorbike accident, it does sound like that, or losing everything. Had a couple of friends who, because they had to do a surgery, they basically like spend all their money on surgery and stuff like that. Yes. So we have to be really careful how we use these words. So when it comes to reframing, as Matan also mentioned, your thoughts and beliefs matter. So you have to consciously also pay attention how you're saying things. What is the meaning? Okay, so for example, I lost my job. I can say, oh my God, it's a disaster, it's a tragedy. Or I can say it's a situation. Because if I say it's a situation, then it means that I can find a solution. Okay, I can handle a situation. But disaster or tragedy, that sounds so strong that maybe our brain will not be able to get out of that negative thinking and feeling this dejected. But then if I say, all right, it's a situation like COVID-19, I could have like really fallen into depression. I lost my money. I'm still paying for my apartment in Shanghai. I can't go back to Shanghai. And I guess a lot of us are in very similar situation. But yeah, instead of like thinking like, oh my God, it's a tragedy, right? It's a situation. Okay. In my family, losing money has unfortunately resulted in suicide. So a lot of people also, when they lose a lot of money in a bank, like a bank bankrupted, they also feel like this is the tragedy, like they can't come out of it because this is how they talk to themselves. But if they look at, okay, it's a situation, yes, how can I reframe it? Like, we lost a lot of money, well, it's all right. We can find ways to get again, start from the beginning. It's tough, but we always have this ability to start from the beginning. So try to avoid extreme language and use the power of yet. So for example, when I say, I really want to be more flexible, okay, doing yoga, I want to be flexible, and I can think like that, oh, I'm not flexible enough, I will never be able to do the splits. If I think like that, I'm just going to give up. Just simple. I will be like, oh, there's no point to even put an effort into it. Or I can say, okay, I'm not flexible yet, but if I work hard, maybe in 1 or 2 years, I will get there. This is going to help me to increase my efforts. So start using the yet instead of already putting yourself in a box that I'm not this, I'm not that. I'm not there yet, but I can be there in some time. So this is going to help you also to increase your efforts. And there is a game which we probably don't have time to play, but I usually play with my students because I also teach drama and improv to Chinese or international students. And it's the game of fortunately, unfortunately, to see that there is always a fortunately in an unfortunately situation. It's kind of like a yin and yang. Okay, so I lost a lot of money. Unfortunately, I lost a lot of money. Fortunately, now, because of the COVID, I have a lot of time to exercise, and then I started to have 6 packs, something like that. And using strong metaphors, like, for example, when we talk about love, if we frame love the way like, love is this magical thing which happens between two people, and it's like a spark, then it's something that you can't really control. Like you feel, I can't really control that, it happens or not. But if you look at love, I think like two people working together, it's a positive collaboration, non-violent communication, support. That's something that I can actually control. So we also have to be careful, like how we frame certain beliefs around us. And then, so the same event, like for example, this little boy asked out a girl, and then the girl rejected him. So there are two outcomes from this event. So this boy can think like, she doesn't like me, I'm ugly, I'm a loser, I'm worthless, I'm not cool. And if you talk this to yourself, and if you talk a lot, as Matan also mentioned, this is going to affect you. Sooner or later, you start believe that you are a loser, you are a failure, and then maybe your entire life, this is how you going to approach. Then you will just get like a very low paid job. You will not be able to, fulfill your dreams. Or the same situation, you look at that, all right, she rejected me, but I at least tried. I have value. Maybe she's the one who is not for me. Then you would feel like I'm in control of my life, not somebody else is controlling. And you would start feeling like you are a champion. And then what you have to do, so first is that in this case, you review your beliefs as your limited beliefs, like how you are. And then the next is you reframe. So using some of these reframing techniques, and take actions. It's not just about you reframe and then this is it. Like, for example, in this COVID-19 also, I had to do reframing, and then I realized like, okay, this is the opportunity. I have time to do this and that. But I actually did take actions. I have time to exercise. And then I started to exercise. I have time to do these funny videos. And I started to do funny videos. And now I feel great. And then you will see the result. And what is the result? That whatever limited beliefs you have, they will slowly disappear. Your negative thoughts also will disappear if you put a lot of conscious effort. And if something like this happens, this unexpected failure, let's say like COVID-19, you will be easily get up from the situation. You will easily get up and keep walking. And you will feel like you are a champion and you can do anything you want and you will not have these limits. Thank you so much. Any questions? And this is how you can also reach me. So I have Instagram, you can tag me. I have Facebook. The Facebook is focused more on my acting. And you can reach me on WeChat. And I don't really have this program, like almost every speaker has their business or have their program. I'm working on it. Actually now, since I had a lot of time in this COVID-19 situation, I've started to work on it. And if I create this 12-week program or 7-week program or 21-day challenge, then I will invite you and let you know in the group. Thank you so much. Which Israeli company, just from curiosity, as an Israeli? Oh, Mata, you're Israeli. Yeah, you were talking about the Jewish. I was studying at Tel Aviv University, and within the university, I was part of the consulting club. So we work with a couple of like small companies. Yeah.
Well, I had a question about so multiple sclerosis, right? When you were kind of when you were diagnosed, how did then, like you said, you went for Vipassana and other things. Like, how did it in the end? Like, what was the end result, and how is it now? Is it there?
So I think I managed to look at things differently and kind of contain the symptoms, because I don't take stress so much. But the reason, it's not like of course I do some of the things, that meditation, self-care, but for me, the biggest help was to just look at things differently. So I'm not even feeling it's a stress situation. So I'm not trying to find a solution for stress, but I actually don't feel stress because I don't look at situation as a stressful situation. And this was the only way, because when your nerves start to have this problem, either you reprogram your mind or you die, or okay, maybe that's a very extreme, but either you reprogram your mind or you gotta keep having these attacks. So I think after Vipassana, I realized a lot of things. I quit my job. I quit a lot of things that I felt that people around me like causing me distress. And then I just started to look at things, and then I still feel sometimes, but I think I managed to kind of contain the symptoms, and they changed my diet. So what I learned, of course, I read a lot about it. Plant-based diet helps a lot with this multiple sclerosis patients. So I changed to a plant-based diet. I don't take that much stress, and just started to look at things differently, and probably that's what helped. Not really, it's very difficult to even say if it was actually multiple sclerosis. There was definitely something in. I need to do like I was planning to do actually another examination like this January, but everything happened. It could be some other nerve problem, so maybe it's solved, which is great because I didn't take any medication. It was all just kind of self-healing and reprogramming your mind, because nerves obviously are related with all those things. Yeah. So my symptoms have stopped. I sometimes feel it, but when I start feeling that, okay, this is like a pre-sign of a paresthesia attack, then I immediately stop. Like I stop. Like it a couple of times happened that I felt it's going to happen, and it just stopped in the middle of the road. And then I just started to breathe, and then I slowed down. I kind of like calmed down my mind. Maybe once I was running for the bus, and then I started to have that I'm going to experience the paresthesia attack, and I stopped. It's like, okay, the bus will go. I will be late. I will just message my boss that I'm sorry, I had something. It's okay. It's much more important than getting another paresthesia attack, because what I also heard that you never know how you come out from these attacks. Sometimes you have an irreversible, we call it like irreversible effect, and I can't really risk that. So I decided not to have it.
Right. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. If you have any more questions. Thank you, Diko. I'm personally also looking into Vipassana. Would you please share more about resources, how and where to find sessions like that? Thank you. Sure. So I went to Myanmar in Burma, which is basically the birthplace of Vipassana. And you can go online and just check Dharma. I'm gonna write it down. Dharma.
We can also,
this is like,
I think we can also share in the group chat as well.
Yeah, I can share in the group chat as well. Yeah. So it's called dharma.org. It's an organization, and they have lots of places everywhere in the world except China, of course. But they also have in Taiwan and Hong Kong, I think. So you just write an email to them and say, hey, I want to come to this session, because this website has like, what is the place and when is the session, and if it's full or not. Okay, so the website is dharma.org. Okay, Dharma. And then you find a place which has intake and it's not fully booked yet, and suitable for your budget. So I decided to go to some like a cheaper country like Burma, and you write an email to them and they reply that yes, you are accepted. Try to go to places which are not that popular. Like India is very top popular, Indonesia is very popular, so it's more difficult to get spots there. But if you go to less popular places like Burma, Myanmar, I think it's very easy to get. Vietnam probably also. And they are really nice. So basically Vipassana retreat, it's free, but it's based on donation. So you can donate as much money as you want. And then for 7 days, you will get accommodation and food. Well, the accommodation is basically an iron bed. So it's not the most comfortable, but I heard like some places, if you pay a little bit more, you get a more comfortable bed. And the food was really good in Myanmar. But it's a really great experience. I actually learned to look at pain differently. So I had terrible pain in my knee because we were sitting and I'm not used to sitting like that. So it was like a burning sensation. And I went to my my guru and I said, like, I can't meditate anymore. It's terrible pain. And then she just said, like, okay, whenever you feel it, just observe it. Look at it from left, right, go inside, outside, like change your perspective. See what kind of sensation is that. Is it cold? Is it hot? And then I just started to do that. Really just observe, because this is what Vipassana teaches you, to observe the sensation. And then the pain went away. So that was a very also kind of enlightening experience, that you can even manage pain if you like meditate, or maybe you like change your mind on the way you look at things, or just keep telling yourself that it's okay. It's just a sensation. This is what Vipassana is kind of teaching you. It's just a sensation. It's just a sensation. Don't judge it. Don't feel bad about it. Don't feel good about it. It's just a sensation and it will go away.
Thank you.
So yeah, I highly suggest everyone to do Vipassana. It's a really a great experience.
I can second that.
Well done, Diko. You're powerful. You're surely welcome, China. Thank you for joining. Oh, thank you, Tan. Thank you, Tan. I hope that you guys learned something from it or feel inspired, and welcome to use this tool. I feel it's I am more like a consultant. I like to see these tools and then, okay, this is how I can put this into a structure. So that's how it helps. But I think also a lot of people, like, we are all different. For some people, like, really hypnosis helps. For some people, meditation helps, or just mixing all of these. I think this tool is like a very kind of down to earth, a little bit like a business tool. But if you have more like a realistic brain, not so much like the artistic and creative, I think this one is good for those.
Thank you, Diko. We have to finish because Jan is to start in 1 minute. So thank you again. We'll share. You feel free to share the information as well in the group. It was really beautiful, and thank you so much for sharing your experiences and the tools. Really helpful.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, and thank you for listening.